Hey everyone, it's PB here. Hope you're doing well. So this will be the seventh video in the communication playlist or segment. Now, this particular one I is really touches home for me. Now, this one we'll sort of go into and talk about the importance of understanding mental health and the role that communication plays in this. Now, mental health is something that I have gone through quite a bit myself. I've gone through depression, anxiety. I've had 6 suicide attempts. And I've got a bit of a better handle on it, and that which is really good. Part of the reason I actually haven't done so many videos over the number of years was actually due to mental health. But yeah, really sort of got on top of it and got into a bit of a better management and being able to manage it better for myself. So now, a very good thing to really put out there is that, well, it's not good, but it's something to know and understand, is that almost everyone will either have gone through depression or anxiety or know someone who has. Unfortunately, is something that is very big and it is increasing, unfortunately. But it's very, when it comes to communication and talking with someone who has depression or anxiety, communication is very important. Now, when I say this, more so how you talk to someone. Now, I mentioned in my last video that there are sometimes some people have trauma around certain words, and when you talk or say these specific words, it can kind of trigger them. This can be similar into depression and anxiety. How when you're talking to someone who has depression and anxiety, it can be harder at times. It can be you'll be surprised just how different communication can be to people struggling with mental health and how it can affect them. So again, they may have gone through certain situations or something that have made them very anxious or maybe very depressed at a specific time or something like that. And so, for example, maybe someone may have gone through a traumatic time around a specific holiday or something, and maybe a lot of people are happy about it, but this person may not be because it reminds them of this particular event. That can come under a bit of PTSD as well. I mean, to an extent as well. They have similar attributes. I know not just from my own experience, but from talking to other people as well, that people who have or have had depression or anxiety know this part all too well. But the simplest of words or sentences can send someone crashing or spiraling into them what feels like a dark abyss. I've had people explain that to them. It feels like having a very dark and heavy cloud over the top of them. That feels like it's really pushing them down to the ground, the part where they feel like they can't move and stuff like that. Now, depression, I don't know if you've heard this, but depression is what is known as an invisible illness, because someone who smiles and looks happy could feel dead and alone inside. Now, another one I like to use is you could be surrounded by 100 people and still feel alone. You could be surrounded by 5 people and still be alone. And that's the thing. It's not so much of who you're around or what's happening, but it's more how things make you feel or how you're feeling at the time. I've had a lot of people say to people, or want to say to people who have depression, especially people who haven't gone through it, don't know this too well, but saying you can't just sort of say something like, or say things like, just let it go, or it's just a phase, or water off a duck's back. It's a hard road for people to push through, and it can be quite a struggle. And these kind of things don't really help a real lot. So yeah, it's definitely something that can be difficult for everyone, and everybody deals with it differently. It can be worse for others, and not for worse for some people, and not worse for others. Um, you know, as I was saying, in particular, I know with SES, mental health issues can affect anyone. It could again, trauma is affected to everybody differently, and so I know a good example for me. To me, what was considered traumatic for me was bullying. I've been bullied pretty much all my life. So I'm 29. I was getting bullied from when I was 7 years old. Um, and as I went through school, when I got older, it got worse and worse. And even after I left school, and even when I went into the workforce, one of the places that I was in, I was getting bullied, and which was what led to my first suicide attempt. Um, and so I know in particular bullying for me was something that was it really impacted me quite a bit, which was a very big thing. I know in the past as well as in particular now, probably the thing that really can really affect my depression that mostly is usually relationships or the ending of relationships. I have been in relationships where I've actually got more depressed, I guess, or felt like that I was trapped and whatnot because of a certain relationship I was in. And that's definitely a toxic thing, definitely something you don't want to be in and want to try and get out of. But again, unfortunately, at the time, I felt like I couldn't escape. I felt like I was trapped, and that had a lot to do with who I was or who I am as a person, etc., etc. But yeah, so communicating with people who have depression, anxiety, again, this is very important because of the how you communicate. Again, I've said this a lot, and in pretty much all the other videos, because of how important it is. How you behave, how you act, how you talk, all of these things matter. Um, and so whenever you're talking to somebody who you suspect has depression, always best to be upfront with it, for one. So if you feel like that they're either going through a hard time or something, let them know and say, hey, listen, I could be wrong, but I think that you might be going through a bit of a hard time. It's just a way you seem to be acting and stuff. I feel you might be, And again, if they say no, I'm all good or I'm fine, and you're better off going along the lines and saying, okay, no, that's all good, but just so you know, if you do ever want anyone to talk to or anything, I am here. And I'll do whatever I can to help you, or if you just want someone to listen, I'm here as well. Because by that way, you're letting them know that even if they don't feel like talking, by you letting them know that you're there, that you want to support, you want to help, even if they don't come and talk to you, sometimes that little bit of extra words of encouragement, I guess you would call them, or affirmation, just lets them know that they're not alone, that there is somebody there who does want to be there, who does want to talk to them. I've done that with a lot of people. There's been times where people who I've looked at people and I'm like, something doesn't look right or something, and I go and talk to them and they'd be like, yeah, I'm all good, nothing's wrong, whatever. But then I'd be like, hey, listen, that's fair enough, but I just want to, I'd explain to them that, if you want to talk, I'm here, etc. And then it's been later on, maybe a few days or something, that they've come and talk to me and say, hey, yeah, this has been going on, blah, blah, blah. And, and I'll listen and I'll talk to them. But being able to let them know, again, even from my own experience, from when I've been through it, when you have somebody who just tells you, hey, listen, I'm here if you want to talk, even if you don't want to talk to them, just knowing that person is letting you know that they're there, that you have support, you'd be surprised on how much of an impact that can have. And yeah, so I think that's certainly a very big thing to think about. But yeah, but again, as I said in the last video, you can't always know the right words to say to people. It's, I mean, the more you build up your social skills and the better you get better at reading body language, know what right words to say, all this kind of stuff, the better your communication will come. And even if somebody who isn't good at communication can probably start to pick up and learn from your communication. And again, this is why, again, I've said this in other videos as well, is that this is why face-to-face is always important, because you've got all these different attributes you can pick up on which help build your social skills. Excuse me. So, yeah, definitely something that's very important to think about and keep in mind. But yeah, so that's pretty much it when it comes to sort of depression and sort of mental health and that. But yeah, communication is something that I find, it's a very important thing to do, because it's something that it goes everywhere. It works in every environment, in whether it's family, friends, work, talking to people down the street, everywhere. It's something that's very important and can affect all aspects of your life. So anyway, I hope you've got a fair bit out of this video around self-awareness, but mostly around depression, anxiety, mental health, and maybe even self-awareness around your own mental health as well. So the next video that I'll be going into will be learning styles, and how we all learn differently in different learning styles and stuff like that. So I hope to see you in the next video. As I said, I hope you've got a lot out of this video and all these videos that I've posted up. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and yeah, much love.